Morbid Facts, Part 781. After his mother's death in 1989, actor Michael Caine discovered a family secret she'd hidden for over half a century. He had an older half-brother named David who'd spent his entire life confined to a psychiatric hospital. His mother had given birth to David long before marrying Michael's father, but when the boy developed severe epilepsy and was institutionalized as a teen, she told everyone she was just visiting a cousin each week, never revealing the truth even to her own sons. Caine only learned of David's existence when he was in his 50s, realizing that while he was building a life of fame and fortune, his brother was wasting away in a mental asylum and died completely forgotten. Just a century ago, a Down syndrome diagnosis was a death sentence, as parents were often told not to get too attached. In the early 1900s, the average life expectancy was barely 12 years. Most children died from infections or heart defects long before adulthood, often abandoned in mental hospitals and forgotten by their families. Even by the 1980s, very few people with Down syndrome lived past 25. But today, medicine and compassion have finally caught up. Thanks to modern care and advancements in heart surgery, people with Down syndrome now live well into their 60s and beyond. Proof that what was once a tragedy of neglect is now a story of survival. Extra Morbid Facts, Part 55. During the midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises in Aurora, Colorado, a 24-year-old shooter entered the packed theater through an emergency exit wearing full body armor, tossed gas canisters into the crowd, and opened fire with an AR-15, a shotgun, and a Glock. In just 90 seconds, he fired more than 70 rounds, killing 12 and injuring dozens more as movie sound effects mixed with real screams. Among the victims was Alex Sullivan, celebrating his 27th birthday and first wedding anniversary; Jessica Gawi, a 24-year-old reporter who'd narrowly escaped a Toronto mall shooting just weeks earlier; and 6-year-old Veronica Moser, who was killed instantly beside her 25-year-old mother, Ashley. Ashley was shot in the neck and abdomen, left paralyzed, and lost her unborn baby, later waking up in the hospital repeatedly asking where Veronica was, not realizing she was gone. The shooter was found calmly waiting outside, calling himself the Joker, while police discovered his apartment rigged with explosives meant to kill the investigators who entered. His notebook revealed a cold plan to maximize casualties, as he was sentenced to 12 life terms plus 3,300 years, but survivors say no punishment could ever possibly match the horror inflicted on that night. Morbid Facts, Part 780. In 1935, Ann Cooper Hewitt, daughter of wealthy inventor Peter Cooper Hewitt, checked into a San Francisco hospital for what she believed was a simple appendectomy, but woke up unknowingly sterilized. Her own mother had secretly convinced the surgeons to tie her fallopian tubes while she was under anesthesia. The motive was pure greed. Anne's father's will stated that if she ever had children, she would inherit millions. But if she died childless, her fortune would revert to her mother. To secure the money, her mother permanently destroyed her ability to have children, then tried to justify it by calling Anne mentally unfit and promiscuous. Anne later sued in one of the most shocking court cases of the 1930s, but despite national outrage, the criminal charges were quietly dropped. The case was settled in private, and Anne's mother never spent a single day in prison. For the rest of her life, Anne struggled deeply with depression and died at just 40 years old, while her mother outlived her by more than a decade and died comfortably in 1969. Morbid Facts, Part 779. In 2015, 20-year-old Lauren Bunner took his ex-girlfriend, 18-year-old Jolie Callan, hiking at Mount Cheaha, the highest point in Alabama. Just before sunset, he took a haunting photo of her taking in the view at the edge of a cliff, completely unaware it would be the last thing she ever saw. Moments later, he shot her twice in the head before pushing her body off the mountain. Bunner later called 911 and calmly confessed, claiming it was part of a suicide pact he couldn't go through with, but investigators found no trace of such an agreement. It was premeditated murder, and in 2017, Bunner was sentenced to 52 years in prison for killing the girl he once called the love of his life. In 2009, Michelle Fox was accidentally shot in the face by her husband while he handled a loaded shotgun. The blast destroyed almost everything. She lost both her eyes, nose, and entire upper palate. Surgeons couldn't fully rebuild her, so they created a custom magnetic prosthetic face made from silicone and acrylic that literally snaps onto metal implants in her skull. She now lives every day with part of her face detachable, a tragic reminder of how one careless moment can erase your identity in a split second. Morbid Facts, Part 274. An Iowa grandmother named Pamela Krameyer was killed at a gender reveal party in 2019 after her family members filled a metal pipe with gunpowder. Instead of emitting a playful shower of blue sparks, the pipe couldn't handle the pressure and exploded like a pipe bomb. In 2021, a pack of dogs killed a baby monkey in the Indian state of Maharashtra. As apparent acts of revenge, 2 monkeys went on to kill over 250 puppies in the local village by snatching them up and dropping them from rooftops or cliffs. Dermatographia is a rather common skin condition that's also known as skin writing. When people with it lightly scratch their skin, it leaves a raised welt that goes away in about 30 minutes. In 1976, a Japanese porn star was very angry at a corrupt politician for accepting a bribe, saying he had much respect for the man until he violated ancient samurai code. In response, the actor kamikazed a plane into the politician's house, killing only himself in the process. Morbid Facts, Part 313. Tammy Lynn Leppert was a rising actress and beauty queen who vanished under mysterious circumstances in 1983 at just 18 years old. Known for her brief appearance in Scarface, Tammy began acting strangely after a party while filming Spring Break, reportedly growing paranoid and convinced that someone was trying to kill her. She abruptly quit the Scarface set during a violent scene and was briefly hospitalized for observation, but doctors found no drugs or alcohol in her system. On July 6, 1983, she was dropped off near Cocoa Beach in Florida, barefoot and visibly distressed, and was never seen again. Despite theories ranging from mental health struggles to potential links to serial killers, her case remains unsolved. Founded in 1825 by free Black Americans, Seneca Village was a thriving community in what is now Central Park. By the 1850s, it had grown into a multi-ethnic, working-class neighborhood with over 250 residents. But in 1857, New York City seized the land through eminent domain to build Central Park, forcibly evicting the residents. Though compensation was offered, it was reportedly minuscule, and most families were pushed into poverty or disappeared from public records. For decades, Seneca Village was completely erased from history, only recently receiving recognition, as archaeologists have uncovered remnants of the lost community. Morbid Facts, Part 485. In 1994, 13-year-old Texas boy Nicholas Barkley went missing after playing basketball with some friends. 3 years later, he was found in Spain and reunited with his family, but something was very off. The boy who came back had darker hair, brown eyes instead of blue, and a French accent, while looking much older than Nicholas would have been at the time. But perhaps blinded by grief, the Barkley family accepted this boy without question despite these major differences. To be fair, he claimed his kidnappers had taken him to France, dyed his hair, and changed his eye color to hide his identity. But a private investigator would soon reveal the boy's true identity as Frederick Borden, a 23-year-old Frenchman with a history of impersonating missing kids. Borden had apparently been searching for love and affection that he never received as a child. Known as the Chameleon, he's assumed over 500 false identities throughout his life, including those of orphans. Meanwhile, the true fate of Nicholas Barkley remains unknown to this day.